Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the breakfast show with Martin here. And this morning we will be talking our usual VSA 360, but of course we'll be looking at some of the highlight that we've seen over the last few days, and definitely many of you may have known if you have checked out Zach Lim live FP on Wednesday. He was there to replace me, and we were talking about rubber glove. And also the US market, the tech stocks has been sort of doing well since the Green Pentagon. Again, that's something we've been highlighting since in our morning podcast, and I also update many of you this morning in here. Let's take a look at what we have for you this morning in our breakfast show with our VSA 360, and on usual Monday we'll be talking a lot more on our smart Robie. Now the KLCI, like it or not, Thursday actually turned Green Pentagon, but it has been kind of very resistant, really moving this sideway in here, and going forward I do think at one point of time it will eventually break to the upside, that's for sure. But the question is, when is it going to be? After the state election in here, or after much of the market? Now, one of the things that you may observe is the KLCI, the tech sectors, has not been following the US technology sectors. If you check out any of the US NASDAQ, they are doing pretty well in here. I would say our KLCI currently is still in stage 1 accumulation in here. And of course, our Pentagon guider will be an early guide, but again, pretty much of what we see in the market has been dictated by the local sentiments, which continue to be very, very weak going in here. But then the Pentagon guider would give you a chance to find some of those trade using as a guide, as I said before, especially if you are inexperienced in this. The VSA 360 can help you out. And if not, try and sign up for our 10-day free trial from it for our VSA 360 and get to test drive it in here. Now also the VSA 360 now come with the insider buying and selling, and pretty much the last couple of weeks the intraday movement has been somehow tame, because we don't have a lot of penny stocks moving in here. But the insider has been giving us a little bit more on a slightly longer term, looking at the insider buying and selling in here. But this morning, let's take a look at the VSA 360 in here. As we know, the KLCI has already turned Green Pentagon yesterday. You could see from here, that's where it actually turned Green Pentagon. Of course, my first attention will be the foreign fund flow, which is pretty much dictate where the market. You could see the last 4 buying in a row. We could see the market pick back up, and then you have one more time here. This is the first one. And again, depending on tonight, whether this market is going to close higher or it's going to close lower. Definitely, if we do close higher, then we have some buying. If not, it's going to be another sideways market in here. Now, how do I know that the rubber glove was doing pretty well, and prompted that my colleague here, Zach, which is our senior trainer, also talked about, was you can see healthcare from last week to this week, the fella actually moved more. Of course, we can really drill down to the KLCI sector. Click on here, you can see the KLCI sector in here. Not all are actually in the Green Pentagon in here, and we have seen just slightly turn Green Pentagon. But you look from right now, the KL healthcare and the utilities has been one of the play. But also take note, the plantation is coming in, and if we look at plantation in here, you can see did break higher here. And the KL healthcare is very similar to taking out the old high that we've seen. And this was surprisingly, some people did ask me, with the reporting of bad earnings, the write-off of the Bistari in here, why is the stock market go higher? Now, if you look from the logic standpoint of how the market works, because all the bad news has been removed, all the sellers has already been removed, and with the bad news being removed, which means the occurrence of more losses coming for it will be less, then likelihood the percentage of the market is going up. And I do think possibly along the line the pickup from the rubber glove would come in. No doubt the analysts right now are seeing things from a different angle, and that's why if you check out the so-called Harta Lega, let me just show you what I mean here, right? Harta Lega, let's go on to Harta Lega foreign, the insider buying and selling. Of course, those of you who don't have this, you can really check out our 10-day free trial, and you can see from here there were many of this call to sell, 190, 150. There was only one lone analyst in here from UOB, and you probably got it right at 245. And this morning the Hata is still around 267 in here, and usually you get this kind of momentum. Got one more leg to push up, then it sort of distribute itself. And I think this is a pretty good stock since Hata started to make up in here. A lot of stocks are moving nicely, and those of you who follow the chart style of buying would be rewarded, because if you look from the fundamental side, this is still pretty much a scary area to be looking at in here. So KL utility is also continuing to go up in here, and this is probably going to do with the possibility utility possibly raising the what we call electricity tariff. I'm not sure about that, but usually that's the case. That's why this market continued to pop higher. The KLCI has already turned Green Pentagon yesterday, and we will see finance also turn Green Pentagon, so that move in tandem. And hopefully if we do see the banking sectors move up, then we will see KLCI move up. If we look from here, this is the banking sector in here. The finance hasn't done Green Pentagon yet, so we just have to wait for it, and eventually this thing does move up. That will be very, very suited in here. Many of the other technology is the worst performer. Remember, at one time we did see technology and rubber glove was the worst performer in here, and they are really behaving very samely. It's been down for 30 days, you know, so at one point you can see this is what I call oversold. By having this, you get a good visibility of how much the kind of technology has been oversold in here. And I do think that with the technology rebounding on the US side, like I talk about in here, the local tech stocks will pick up eventually, but you just need to wait for that Green Pentagon to come back in before we do anything. Let's switch back to our dashboard, clicking on here. And then you will see also Inari is picking back up in here. The KLCI, I do think coming from the seasonality, you can see we have January, February, this one here, February, March, April, Suma negative. So month of May will definitely be positive, because year in year we are down minus 4.5% in here. All right, 4.5%. So I expect this market to move back up a bit here. Salute remain to be one of the highest, 200% return in here. Zach did a pretty good job in here talking about rubber glove. We felt that rubber glove has been you know, overly sold in the past, and now, you know, just turning to start to move back to the green side of things, turning into Green Pentagon. But of course, those of you who have the Green Pentagon would have notified much earlier in here. All right. Oh, we need to check also the alerts. Is kind of good way to know where we are. We got a lot of Green Pentagon in here. You can see Legenda turn green, Kawan, P, Dufu, Penta. So you can see Kosan actually turned on the 18th. Top Glove turned on the 18th also, which was yesterday. Anju, Amada, Hibiscus, Unisam. So you can see market turning bullish right now, and we also have the Green Pentagon in here. Just take note, these things usually are front runners. Some of these large big cap stocks are front runner, and that once they are started to pick up, you can see they will run. On my local own stock hit, I got OCK, Hibiscus, and Harley all started to turn green, and that's why maybe this time we will see the market. So what do you think? Share with me on your thought. Do you think that KLCI would push a bit higher than it can, or it's just simply going to move sideways in here, right? So things do point to a little bit on the upside, favor the upside more than anything else. All right. Let's also take a look at the schematic of our what we call conceptual map of our KLCI. You can see very easily the market really moving the sideways and just turn Green Pentagon in here. Market sort of not really going higher high nor higher low, just kind of range bound, and we notice tendency whenever on a technical analysis you have this kind of tight range bound, it either going to break up or break down after a stage 1 accumulation in here. And I do hope that, you know, it does break into a stage 2 markup, and that will be great, breaking above the 1450. After all, we have seen January, February, March, April, Suma negative. So hopefully May, June, we have that positive coming in here. So that's how we you know, look into things. So you can see from KLCI side here, this is where we talk about the narrow band, right? We have the upthrust, we have now upthrust takeout. So strength may come up, or could be third time lucky. Okay, still holding above the 40-day moving average. It's a low volume in here, which is still good. showing the sign of accumulation in here. Bottom line is we need to have foreign funds coming in to break it. All right, we have foreign fund came in yesterday, but this morning seems to taper off a bit in here to retest back the 1436 level in here. The banking stock also need to move up, which means if the foreign funds were to come back in, they have to buy those banking stock. On our KLCI future side, this is the futures using the TradingView plugin with the VSA market state, which is really a leading indicator. You can see it hasn't really turned Green Pentagon yet. We did have the outflow early on 4 days in a row, and then we have one inflow. Is it a 1 day lucky inflow in here? Well, hopefully when it turns Green Pentagon, then they will start to move up nicely in here. All right, let's take a look at our intraday, which is more for our experience in here. So as of 9:43, we didn't get much. So let's take a look at right now whether we see any premium. Oh, you've got more. Oh, a lot of them turn Green Pentagon. You can see 10 o'clock Seagate top hour. Yep. Probably can look at this persona. So what you can do, you just mouse it over here. You can oh, this one looks pretty good. Or it did turn but hasn't ceiling. All these are penny stock are 9 cents. MN is 34. This one MN holding. We got SP Satir also turned Green Pentagon earlier around 10 o'clock, and since then it's pulled back a bit. Ionic. So you can see all these are picking up in here, but we will come back next week to check out some of these stocks if there is a follow through from that in here. But overall, the KLCI market remained to be weak, but this is partly due to the finance anyway. So we can see some of these stocks are started to pick up and run. So we will come back, take a look at this next week to see. Of course, if you have the VSA 360, you can check out some of this intraday alert, much of it in set. Alright, so let's take a look at the insider buying. Many of you are quite aware one of the things behind the insider buying, this is proposed by Peter Lynch, is that the insider might sell their shares for many reasons. When they buy, it's only one reason, because they think it can go up. But of course, we have seen also in Malaysia, stocks do go up and go down, right? You can see one of the biggest buy by insider is Chin Hin, where the big boss is buying almost 2.5 million per transaction every day. So sometimes I wonder, you know, where is it really selling in here? But of course, academic studies, insider were able to profit enormously from the insider buying up to 104. So in our, those of you who are not familiar, in our VSA 360, we have the buying and selling in here. The greens are the buy. You got the sell is the so-called orange. Then we have the blue badge here. You can see here, this is a blue badge, call to buy, call to sell. Because we have seen earlier on with the Harta Lega that we have, right? We have a lot of sell. If everybody is pushing it to sell, so all the seller already sell, right? So there's no more seller lah. So everybody had turned seller, isn't it? So when the buyers start buying right now, and that's why we are seeing this market going up. So if does what I say this makes sense? If I make sense, give me a thumbs up in here. When everyone has sold in the market, there's no more seller. The market can only do one thing: rise from there onwards. Okay, so you can see this is what happened when CY Park go through the same thing, and then eventually the market push back up. We can also say the same thing also for Hata. So last week we were talking about Yongtai. They were buying here. So let's take a look at the VSA 360. If you have not had a chance to use the VSA 360, you might want to use and lock it once in a while in here. So Yongtai, go in, and you can see right now from here, that was last week, isn't it? Well, what date was that? Let me just check out the date here. This was 12th of May, which was actually last week. So 12th of May was somewhere around here, right? 12th of May, yep, Yongtai continue to go higher, and this is pretty good, right? Yongtai pretty good. Of course, it hasn't made much more money yet, but we do see 90 million there. That's what really caught my eye. You know, 90 million shares. Then you got another 90 million domain, 2 companies. So someone is taking up more share than it should. That is Yongtai from last week. We also have this week Apex Health. You can see these 2 buying in here. So let's turn our attention to Apex. Okay, Apex Health. Again, these 3 out of 8 much better stocks are. You can see 2 buying, and then finally the market moves up. Very nice one in here. Turn Green Pentagon. So it does provide some sort of a support when we see this is a big one here, 115k and 140k. So why is that? Because at $3 a piece, so that's about $600,000. This doctor probably be one of the owner too, right? Maybe we can just Google this Dr. Lee Kek Chin. Okay, Dr. Lee Kek Chin. Let's hit that one, and you can see he is he's the CEO. Okay, so he's a CEO buying, and of course if the CEO is not what we say not confident, he may not be able to buy, but in this case he's buying a bit more, but he's not one of the top 6 shareholder in here. And you know, Apex Health, like it or not, has gone up on February and it's up 18%. Not bad if you look back the last 6 years. This has been a pretty good in here. Let's take a look at the news. If we have, okay, this, yep, the Apex Health. Now this again, this one is the Smart Robie is just picking up a lot of the keyword Apex, but we need to pick up Apex Health, something we will ask the team to look into it, to retrain Robie to pick up the right thing. So in here you could see it's number 2, it's a pharmaceutical, FADO stocks, pay pretty decent dividend, 17% actually, long term, and growth at the reasonable rate. So this would be a good stock to look at in here. If you had it for since 2016, your investment will be 46,000. Well, of course, one time it went up to 100,000. That was in 2019, before the big fall that we have here. You know, that speaks for itself. All right. So this is where we are seeing right now for these 2 stocks in here. Let's take a look at what will be the insider buying this week. First one is P-Trans, right? P-Trans, again, I picked this up on one of our screener, right? Which we are developing for our members soon, and hopefully once we more well tested, we'll probably show you what's the best way to do it. So you can see here was that buying, and one reason why is Tan Sri Dato Tan Chi Seng. This is Vincent Tan's younger brother, Danny Tan, who is the owner of Tropicana. And why is he buying Perak Transit? I wonder why too, right? So maybe it's gonna be pushing up in here, so watch out for that one. Yeah, he was one of the owners. Yeah, he's one of the big, so he's adding on to this company in here. Maybe he knows something that we all don't know. Okay, but definitely it's turned Green Pentagon in here, sideway. If it does have a pullback, low entry, I think this is a good one. P-Trans, okay, the dividend 2%, ROE has gone a bit lower since then. Okay, next one we have is StarBiz. Again, there was one loan buying in here. Let's look at StarBiz. They print textbook one. I think all those examination, what they call buku runjukan. Right, StarBiz. So this was a big one, 1.5 million. Mr. Law Kim Hui. Okay, Law Kim Hui, again, I think is the owner. It's a group MD. If he buys 1.8 million, then maybe that's something that we should pay notice of, because when someone buy close to about 1.5 million, 18 cents, that's not a lot, still over 100,000 in here. Pick up to 23 cents since then and drop back in here. Maybe just averaging his lowering price. What do you think? Let me know. Type it in there. And but it's something to want to watch. Maybe it will just do something like what we've seen with the previous 2 earlier stocks that we talked about buying at the bottom when it turned Green Pentagon. Cabut lah. Okay, so those are, and last but not least is do worthy. Now Chin Hin hasn't really run up yet, but you can see the huge buying that is presented in here, and something is cooking, you know, for Chin Hin in here. We'll just keep an eye. Let's take a look, see who is buying a lot. Go to Chin Hin, and you can see here 770 Tan Dato Sri Miss. Oh, it's like a whole family lah. Dividend family, PP, Chin, Reality, all gang bang lah, all buying lah. I see 30 over thousand in here. Really sapu everything from the market lah. Right? I think these are all these are. Oh, okay. Ong Chu Ming also got this one. Eddie Ong also inside there. So let's see. Maybe this market can jalan, right? Okay. So that's Chin Hin here. And of course, just a reminder for our great support audience in here, we will be in Mid Valley for the Invest Fair 2023 in here. Do come over. Saturday I'll be giving a talk together with our exhibitor partner, Macquarie Malaysia, in here at booth 25, which is actually near the entrance. All right, so come lot. And for those of you who yet to try out our VSA 360, this is definitely a very good tool. We highly recommend in here. You can see the insider report does give you the edge that most tools don't get out of there. And if you're ready, these are our pricing in here, and of course great review from our support in here, and to give us a feedback up there. All right, we'll come to our stocks. If you have any stocks that you want me to look at, feel free, and usually we check it out with our insider buying that does give you a sense of who is really holding this market in here. All right. With that, I hope you all had a great weekend here. You can also follow me on TikTok and also on YouTube. My TikTok handler is trade_VSA on TikTok in here, and that's where we are. So we'll be showing more of the so-called social side of TradeVSA in here, whereas in our Telegram chat room, we will be talking more on the educational stuff in here. So thank you for coming. Thank you. Okay, we have Miss Wong here. Let's take a look at PIE. Sure. Let's look at PIE. So PIE, yeah, it did break down. Let's see any insider buying for the last 6 months. They'll call to buy. PIE is actually industrial material, right? It's a FAD stock, growth at reasonable. Yeah, it's a reasonable pricing in here. Okay, growth at reasonable pricing. But the PE is about 18 times, so not too bad. FAD though paid good dividend. It's a good, I would say this is a good dividend stocks in overall. You can see some of the shareholders are pretty big. Citibanks are in there, just a nominee income, but it has moved a fair bit from last year, around 250 to 350. Right now you got Red Pentagon pull back. I do hope that, yeah, it did turn Green Pentagon in here yesterday. So let's see whether it can hold its ground. And again, this one is correlated to the US side. So if the US do go up. All right, we got Miss Grace here. Okay, PWF, sure, right. Okay, now it's coming back. PWF consolidated. So let's look at the insider report. First thing, ooh, lots of insiding. Good pickup. This is a good pickup. 30K. This one can hold lah. Wait for gangbang, the fella turn Green Pentagon, right? So let's pull back 6 months in here. This is where we see huge buying in here. There were a lot of transfer. This kind of thing they transfer, but they also sold a lot. So let's keep an eye on this one in here. Thank you for informing this. WPE. Let's take a look. I'll read it out too, so not too bad. Okay, we go on to Sunway. Sunway fundamentals is 2 out of 8, 230. Wow, lots of buying in here. So you can see, buying EP, but this is all EPF lah. EPF sometimes they all dung one They don't know what they are buying also. But more interested is the owner. All the Jia family inside here. Adrian Jia, gangbang, all family buying. The wife also buying, Susan, right? And yeah, over this side you can see. Also Sunway Group buying, so they're supporting themselves Sunway 147. And if you look at this stock, not a huge buying. So I don't think this stock is going to tank, but the question is, can it go higher, right? There was a lot of call to buy here, and we're at 239, and there's the last one about 239. You can see here 239, but the question is, you gangbang, everybody buy how the market's going to go. So you have to wait for the foreign funds to come in to look into this. And I think Sunway has to bid for some of those construction projects like the high-speed railway. If they do bid for it like YTL, then this one will jalan too. All right, you just need to be very patient. Okay, we got Pua here with Tafit. All right, this is Tafit. First of all, we're going to look at the insider buying. There were 2 insider buying here. Tato, sorry. Excuse me. This is is he an owner here? Wong Si Chen. Let's take a look. Wong Si, yeah, he's one of the owner. Click on that one, and you can see, he used to be one of the audit director for Tafit. All right, so you can see Tafit. What are the things they do? Consumer products. Sharia, okay, also growth, not too bad. Okay, this is a long-term stocks. You can hold it. It's a growth stock. and Tafit here 64 cents. If you look at the overall 6 months ago, lots of buying in here. I think this one is pretty good. I don't think this is going to be going down in here. And if you look back, Tafit, if you have had it 10k previously in here, right, it did drop a lot, then you're back to 52. This year hasn't been that great. It was a wonderful year on 2021. Okay, Tafit, construction, they're into construction. Furniture hits Tafit, or they are into construction. Again, very similar to the, but why do we have here consumer? This is under Tafit. Let's take a look. No, they are into investment holding, furnitures, okay, property and investment in here. I don't know why the news they pick it up as here, right? Tafit construction contract here. Right, that was 17th of April. But if you look back at the schematic in here, when you compare Tafit, it's not too bad. Here you can see Tafit is the big orange line here compared to the others, right? So in terms of PE, they are quite okay lah. Slightly a bit pricey lah, 23 times in here, but lots of insider buying in here. But more importantly, look back to the 1 month, we want to see that the owner is actually by Wong Si Kian, and this is one of the directors, as I said before. All right, so that's all we have. Thank you for your support. All right, we do one more for Susan, definitely, right? Susan here, Susan is BJ Food. Just type food lah. Okay, BJ Food, again, insider buying, most important. We want to see there's insider buying. There isn't, and the market this morning fell a lot, right? I think, yep, you can see here there were periods selling 2.8 million. This is what's actually started the selling. They were called to buy. So if the market do break down, we have to be very careful, and especially when you have the blue thing here, it broke through then only here, but once it crossed below the ATR stop loss, you have to chabot, right? And this is still in pretty much in the downtrend. So, I do not sure. Right, no doubt it's 6 out of 8, but the market is trending down. We have to be very careful, right, before it holds another base here. All right, like it or not, you can see been dropped for the last 4 months. Last year did very well. You know, this year is down. You need to have patience if you're longer term on this one in here. Who knows? It may register 1 or 2 bad quarters and the market is falling in here. But on technical side, it's turning very bad. We don't have insider buying. There was some selling at the top here. So if you are holding this, you have to, you know, tahan a bit more in here, right? And wait for the market to turn back. All right, thank you, Susan. Thank you for your stocks here. So that's all we have. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you back on Monday for our breakfast show. And don't forget for our Invest Fair on June 3rd and 4th. And good morning.